Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a closer look at a Premier League match that really shook things up a bit. Manchester United versus West Ham United, played back on Sunday, May 11th, 2025 at Old Trafford.
Absolutely. And this wasn't just, any old game. This one carried, well, quite a bit of historical weight and definitely marked some significant moments for both clubs, especially given their form leading up to it.
Exactly. I mean, for West Ham, this was huge. It snapped a long winless run they'd been on since February, and maybe even more strikingly, their first top-flight win at Old Trafford since May 2007. That's 17 years.
A massive gap. Think about the changes since then.
Right, and then you flip it, and for Manchester United, a really grim statistic, their ninth home league defeat of the season. You have to go all the way back to 1962 to find a worse record at home for them.
Wow. 1962.
And it also meant West Ham completed their first league double over United since that same 2006-07 season we mentioned for the last Old Trafford win.
So yeah, a result absolutely packed with context and narrative. The final score, West Ham winning 2-0 in front of what? Nearly 74,000 fans.
73,804, yeah?
Yeah.
George Gillette was the ref. But that scoreline, 2-0, it really only tells part of the story.
Definitely. Let's unpack it a bit.
Okay, so the first half, it kicked off, and it felt, well, fairly even for a bit, didn't it? Both sides sort of sizing each other up. Bruno Fernandes had an early crack. Shot went over the bar for United. Then at the other end, Max Kilman put a header just over for West Ham.
Yeah, those early moments suggested it could go either way, really. Bit cagey, maybe. You wonder how those near misses play on the mind early on.
Totally. And then probably the big moment for United in that half was Amad Diallo's strike, wasn't it? Powerful shot.
But Oriola pulled off a fantastic save. Really top-class stop.
Sensational save. But the rebound fell straight to Fernandes.
And he put it wide. A real let-off for West Ham.
A huge chance missed. You do wonder, if United score then, does the whole game change?
It's those moments, isn't it? And then, well, West Ham made them pay. Just before the half-hour mark, 26th minute.
Tomas Souček flicked it in cleverly.
Yeah, from that low pass from Mohamed Kudus. That was Souček's 9th goal of the season, which is a decent return from midfield.
Very good return. And Kudus himself could have maybe added another soon after.
He had a chance, yeah, but sliced it over. Still, they got the breakthrough.
So West Ham going to the break 1-0 up. Feels like they came out for the second half pretty sharpish, too.
They certainly did. Looked like they wanted to build on that lead quickly, and they didn't have to wait too long. 57th minute, I think.
Sounds about right.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka squared it inside the box.
And Jared Bowen was right there?
Yep, simple finish. Slotted it home calmly from close range. Clinical when the chance came.
2-0 down at home. You expect United to throw something at it, and Garnacho seemed to try and spark something.
He did, yeah. Showed a bit of life, cut inside, had a shot.
Hit the side netting, though.
Yeah, close, but not close enough. But really, the story for United trying to get back into it seems to revolve around Rasmus Højlund.
Oh, absolutely. Multiple reports highlighting several really good chances he missed late on.
Yeah, not just half chances either. These sound like opportunities you'd expect your main striker to bury, frankly.
It really does emphasize that wastefulness people talk about with United this season. Was it just composure, confidence? Maybe both.
Could be. It's something they'll definitely need to look at. But it wasn't all one-way traffic, United pushing and missing. West Ham could have had a third.
Right, Altay Bayindir had to make a good save.
Yeah, sharp reaction stop to deny James Ward-Prowse kept the scoreline at 2-0. So, both keepers definitely played their part.
And we saw quite a few substitutions in that second half, too. Managers trying to change things up.
We did. For United, Yoro came on for Maguire, Shaw for Lindelof fairly early, then later Mount for Garnacho, Diallo for Eriksen trying to freshen up the attack.
And West Ham made changes, too.
Yep, Ugarte replaced Dorgu. Then later, Fulkrug came on for Bowen, Soler for Kudus, maybe resting key players or just seeing the game out. And right near the end, Kufal for Emerson and Todibo for Mavropanos, definitely shoring things up.
Okay, let's really dig into the significance here. West Ham's first win since February, that massive wait for an Old Trafford victory over, breaking that duck after 17 years, that's huge for them.
Monumental. And the double over United, first time since 06-07. That's a real statement, isn't it? It gives him such a lift.
It really does. That 2006-07 season obviously resonates. For them to repeat that, especially with a win at Old Trafford, it must do wonders for their confidence. Shows, tactical discipline on the day.
Absolutely. But then you have to look at the other side. Manchester United.
Yeah.
9 home league defeats.
It's staggering. They're worse since 1962, and it leaves them, where, 16th in the table?
Yeah, just a point above the drop zone with only 2 games left at that point. I mean, for a club like Manchester United, that's
Ugh.
also shocking.
Yeah, it really is. And that home form, it raises serious questions, doesn't it? About the setup, the mentality, maybe even the whole atmosphere there.
And that wastefulness we mentioned, especially with Heisland's misses. Perhaps it's a symptom of something bigger, a lack of confidence running through the team. Are the tactics creating the right kind of chances consistently?
It's more than just missing, it's why they're missing them, maybe.
Precisely. And you contrast that with West Ham finding that clinical edge and also having that spark from Kudus.
Yeah, we mentioned his assists, but it sounds like he was a real threat throughout.
Definitely provided that bit of creativity they needed, that ability to unlock the defense. He was key.
So you've got these two teams seemingly heading in opposite directions right at the end of the season. West Ham get this massive boost before playing Forest at home.
Yeah, they'll be buzzing from this. Whereas United, they're facing Chelsea next in the league. They've got the Europa League final against Spurs coming up.
All while being winless in their last 7 Premier League games at that point. The pressure must be immense.
Huge. The psychological blow of this defeat, on top of everything else, could be really damaging for those remaining fixtures.
We should briefly touch on the tactics mentioned. United in a 3-4-2-1, West Ham in a 3-4-1-2. Any initial thoughts on how that played out?
Well, it's always hard to say definitively without a deeper dive, but you wonder if West Ham having Souček pushing forward alongside Bowen and, effectively 2 forwards against United's back 3 caused issues.
Maybe created overloads. Or perhaps United's wingbacks weren't tracking runs effectively.
Could be. The fact Souček got in for the first and Bowen found space for the second, it suggests there were some gaps in United's defensive shape, regardless of the starting formation on paper. Execution is key.
So wrapping it all up, a truly historic day for West Ham at Old Trafford. They end that long wait, complete the double over United. Huge result for them.
And for Manchester United, another really disappointing day at the office, especially at home. More questions about their finishing, their overall direction. This result feels pretty significant for both clubs heading into the final stages of that 2024-25 season.
Absolutely. And maybe the final thought for you listening is this. What does this one game, with all its history and those contrasting fortunes, really signal about the trajectories of Manchester United and West Ham?
Is it a blip? Or are we seeing a more fundamental shift happening between these two clubs? Certainly gives you something to chew on as we look ahead.